Some people will believe a liar, a thief, and a con man before they believe somebody that they can see is telling them the truth and that they know wants the best for them. And we have to ask ourselves, why is that? Why would we entrust trillions of dollars, the military, launch codes, and all of these things to a man who's a felon, who's lied to us, who seemingly has one goal, and that is to destroy this country we live in? And everybody talks about the Constitution and its foundation. Well, if the person that is supposed to be the most important person in an organization, country, or whatever, doesn't respect it, well, what does that say? But moreover, what does that say about us, holding people accountable? You see, when we do wrong, we're going to be held accountable immediately. Oh, somebody like myself, if I was a felon, I can't vote, can't do nothing. But here you elect somebody to the highest office in our country and then allow that person to make decisions on a daily basis that negatively affect the people who live here, except for the billionaires or trillionaires, big money people. Now, I know you won't hear about this from anybody, you won't even listen to it from anybody else. But maybe from one actor to another actor, maybe you will listen to this because this is Ronald Reagan talking about tariffs and what they will do to a country and what they are doing to us now. It is very telling to see somebody who was the president, I don't know how long ago, talk about the things that's going on today that are putting us on the brink of so many different things. War, famine, financial ruin. I don't get
See,
it.
at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity. Now, it hasn't always been easy. There are those in the Congress, just as there were back in the 30s, who want to go for the quick political advantage, who risk America's prosperity for the sake of a short-term appeal to some special interest group, who forget that more than 5 million American jobs are directly tied to the foreign export business and additional millions are tied to imports. For those of us who lived through the Great Depression, the memory of the suffering it caused is deep and searing. And today, many economic analysts and historians argue that high tariff legislation passed back in that period, called the Smoot-Hawley tariff, greatly deepened the Depression and prevented economic recovery. You see, at first...
So let's talk about special interest groups, because that seems to be a topic that nobody really discusses. And we then need to go from there, and maybe we should go straight here. Why is it that the people we elect are not representing us? We're not holding their hand to the fire. And almost on a weekly basis, we find out another something was taken from us. Whether it's DEI, the Department of Education, Doge doing things that they have no business, and we've been silent. And of course now we seem like we're beginning to move, to stir, to understand that this is no good for us. This only serves special interest groups. And who are those? Wealthy individuals. So how much of the population is comprised of wealthy individuals? How many people are suffering due to decisions made based on income, what you could do for me, and how many people have been paid to go along with a government or a person who really does not know how to run a country. But above all things, and this is the reason why I think most people want to kill Ibrahim Traore. He is putting his people before himself. And I can't understand why America, France, and all these other countries at least could follow his lead in taking care of the people that you swore on the Bible that you would take care of, to uphold constitutional, mandates. You see, that lets me know that the people who actually are in elected offices, they're liars, because they'll put their hand on the Bible and swear to something they know they're not going to do. But they expect you to follow it, and you do it almost to the letter. And where has that gotten you? People think I'm bashing, somebody because of their beliefs. But if your beliefs take food away from your children, your beliefs are the thing that destroys this country, your belief in someone or something is not taking care of you the way that you deserve to be taken care of, then you better check your bucket, because it might have a hole in it. Check your thinking, because right now we are acting sometimes without thinking, only because we're letting our eyes think for us. And if you don't know what that means is, some of you would support a tyrant just because he looked like you.